you know, we can get into it, but my first radio show or radio play was a station based in Rotterdam,
Okay.
Netherlands. And, you know, I preferred and hoped it would be at home first. But sometimes things just don't,
Timing works funny ways, bro.
you just got to roll with it.
100%.
And, but I'm happy my first interview is here.
I'm happy too, bro. I'm happy that you're a guest on Versatile Vigilante, man.
Yes, sir.
Young Vince,
Yes,
Uncle
sir.
Vinny, Imadh, special guest, Mississauga in the building, bro.
Yes, sir.
Some real talent in the building today, that's for sure.
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Mississauga, man. For all the Vigilante gang, met this guy like literally a couple days ago. Saw a live performance. Shout out Campfire. They held it down in Kensington Market.
Shout outs Campfire.
This guy was performing. Fucking tall ass guy on the stage. I'm like, this is pretty fire. I fuck with this music. Saw him after. I'm like, bro, let's get this interview in.
Yeah.
Here we are, man.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you for having me, man. It was really dope to meet you there. And I had a feeling when I was performing, I'm like, I know there's going to be some gems in this crowd here.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to make some important connections. And yeah.
That's what it's all about, bro. Meeting new people, doing our thing. So, yo, let's get right into it, man. So, Imadh, Mississauga. Just even from browsing on your music, like Mississauga seems close to your heart, man.
Absolutely.
Born and raised in Mississauga. Tell me a little bit about coming up, man.
You know, I was brought up. I lived in a building not too far from here, actually. The main intersection was just about here, Ontario and Eglinton.
Okay.
Not too far from Acorn, not too far from Square One. That's why I had a song, Square One Freestyle.
Saw that.
That was probably the one that went off almost the most at the show. And yeah, this is just the hometown, man. It's, you know, went to school here, made most of my friends that I have to this day are all from here. And the city itself is just special. It's such a multicultural place. You know, in school, I grew up with people from all different types of cultures and hemispheres of the world and continents and whatnot. And yeah, I want to, you know, I don't think there's been any artist yet from Mississauga that's done it huge. There's definitely artists from Saga that are repping, and I always pay my respect to them. I just want to see Saga really do damage on like the global stage, you know?
Completely agree, bro. I view it kind of like how New York has like Brooklyn, Harlem.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Mississauga could be our own, like, you know, Toronto's
Definitely.
like of course, but Mississauga, a ton of talent here, man.
Definitely. It is almost like a borough in some
Borough.
ways. It's not Toronto, so it's always funny when you know, even on my profile, I have Mississauga / Toronto.
I saw that too.
For multiple reasons. One being that I did live in Toronto for like 4 years of my life, and that was like in my 20s. So those are pretty formative times. But the other reason is you talk to anyone that's not from here, you say Mississauga, and they're like,
Exactly,
what?
man.
You know, we heard Obama that one time say Mississauga, and that was a trip in itself. So you just kind of give the easiest reference point. You're like, okay, I'm from Toronto.
Exactly, bro. Try telling someone from Florida you're from Mississauga, you know? That's a fucking fun game.
They'll think you saying Mississippi or something like that.
Exactly. Like, oh, that's cool. You know, I completely feel you, bro. I like to ask that question because everyone that's from Mississauga has the same response.
Yeah.
It's like, we're our own thing, very diverse, like, very unique place, bro. Like, our downtown is a mall.
It's a mall,
Crazy.
straight up. And even on the way here, I was just looking at, I was driving on the 403 and I was looking at the highway and I just see the city center and I'm like, it's just surrounded a mall, basically.
Yeah,
It's just a bunch of
literally,
condos around a mall. But it looks lit. Like our
Yeah.
skyline is super underrated.
It is very nice. It's definitely a vibe, bro. And, you know, hearing your music, I could hear the Mississauga in it, which is super weird to say. Like, how the fuck can you hear a place, you know?
Yo, there's nothing more I could ask for, really. Like
Exactly.
that's a huge thing. It's just like when you listen to Drake, you can hear Toronto in the
Exactly.
music. I want my people to be able to hear Mississauga and a bit of Toronto too, because it's both for me, you know.
Exactly. It's hand in hand. We're not like competition. We're a team, you know. Toronto
Exactly.
Mississauga is a team in my eyes.
I forgot one thing I gotta add about artists doing it big from the city. I completely forgot about P&D.
Superstar.
Party Next Door is on that global stage. I'd say he did it the biggest from Saga.
He probably had the biggest hit that to ever come out of Mississauga, I'd say.
And his writing credits, his resume speaks for itself. And funny enough, we actually went to the same high school.
Sick.
And so I saw him doing music from back then, and yeah. And then sure enough, he just blew up.
Yeah, he's a huge artist too, man.
So shout outs to him. Shout outs to Jerron for sure.
Definitely shot mad videos in Mississauga too, which was dope.
Yeah. The video Break from Toronto.
Yeah.
That's 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, bro.
It's like I could walk there.
Tompkin and
Rathburn.
Rathburn.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. That's a gang. But how'd you get into music, bro? Like what were you always a musical kid coming up and then just bring me through that a little bit?
Oh man, great question. So I remember just back in the days when I was like 8, or even younger than 8. My dad used to DJ as like a side gig,
Nice.
and he would do shows in Toronto and whatnot, and even here in Saga. And he would take me to when he was doing setup. Obviously not at night because I was a kid, but when he was doing setup and bringing over the speakers and all the equipment and stuff and the mic, I would tag along just as a kid.
You're like a mini roadie.
Yeah, as a mini roadie. And I don't know if he was trying to like low key like do something there. I don't know if he was trying to influence me maybe to be more
Plant that
musical,
seed.
but it worked. When he would set up, when the mic was hooked up, I would take the mic. And I was so fascinated by the fact that my voice was projecting. And I'd be like tapping the mic. I'd be like, is anyone here? Hello? And I was experiencing that.
Yeah.
And I think as a kid, that does something to you. And then I'd say fast forward from that, we would always just have music playing in the house. My parents are big on pop, R&B, soul. My sister was big on I'd say my sister brought me into like the world of hip hop. But we'd have music videos playing in the house. I remember one of my favorite videos that I'd watch on repeat was Busta Rhymes, the Woo-Ha. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, this guy's so he's so comical.
That's better than a cartoon, man.
Yeah, as a kid, those kind of artists, and then later on Missy Elliott and things, you're watching and you're just like fascinated by just how colorful and animated everything is. I'd say that those are the experiences early on that like really planted the seeds for me to get into music.
Remembering that as you get older too, you think, wow, that really was significant. Didn't really.
You don't realize it at the time
at all.
Yeah.
That's real as fuck. And did you start making music as a young kid too, or?
Yeah. So fast forward to let's say maybe like 12 years old. That's when I saw like by that time I was like pretty like in hip hop already in terms of like listening to Eminem, Jay-Z, and then 50 Cent came along.
Yep.
And that took my love for hip hop to another level. Cause I think I wasn't as big of a fan of any artist yet. Like I knew I liked songs by Tupac. I knew I liked songs by Biggie and all that. But when 50 came along, I was like, yo, this is different. The energy was just the way he just like everything stopped. Like him and the whole G Unit, Shady Aftermath, that whole time, it was like so dominant. So I remember at that time I was completely fascinated and just like, yo, I want to do this. I want to do that. I remember I just wanted to join G Unit.
I didn't, bro.
I remember wishing in my mind that there was like a junior division of G Unit. I was like, is there a J Unit?
Yeah,
is that a thing?
Get the G League.
Yeah.
Unit.
Can there be a
Yeah.
a teenage version?
They really had it on lock. Like it was crazy.
Man. And then watching each of them have their turn, like you see Lloyd Banks come through, you see Young Buck and
Beast.
Tony Yayo. It's just like,
Bro,
and then the
fucking
game,
shout out
yeah,
Yayo, man.
you
Love
remember,
Yayo.
like all that was, and then obviously the alliance with M and Dr. Dre and just all of that was insane to watch.
They were really an empire.
They were an empire, and I think that around that time, probably when I was like 13 years old, or when I was 12, I think Get Rich or Die Trying came out, and I was just out of control.
Crazy.
And then when I was 13, I think I recorded my first song with a I remember my friend Patrick, shout outs to Patrick.
Shout out Patrick.
He definitely does not rap, but if I was able to find those old songs, it would just be the most
13 years
embarrassing.
old.
13 years old. He had this microphone. It was like a stick, and it was a computer microphone.
Okay.
The quality was super trash, but we found some foam and we like put it on the microphone like this and like put a rubber band around it, and we recorded two songs. One to Damn by Young Bloods.
Yeah.
If you don't give a damn,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
give a yeah. And I forget the second one. And yeah, we wrote our parts and like just
remix that shit.
remix them.
That's
And the
unreal.
quality was just insanely bad, but that was the
You guys were ahead of your time though.
the formative years, man. We're talking like 2005,
That's crazy, man.
2004, 2005, around there.
That's unbelievable to hear.
Yeah,
Start that shit at a young age.
super young.
See what
man.
happens.
Yeah.
When you made your
And I just super aged myself, by the way. If anyone doesn't know, I'm 30 years old, so we can have separate
that's
questions
your prime,
about that.
man.
Yeah.
That's your prime. 1990, 91.
I'm 91. Yeah,
91,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, bro, that's
Not
your
gonna.
fucking
I'm
prime.
not. I'm not one of those people that's gonna have like an industry age. I know people
Fuck
be doing that.
bro.
I rep.
Kick you out of the interview if that was
Yeah,
the case.
no, it's not happening.
Fuck
I
that shit.
rep who I actually am. That's what you're gonna get.
Man, I'm a big fan of, I've said this on the podcast even before, like the process is so important. When you like fucking faking shit, you're throwing that away, man. You're removing important things from your life. Like that's bullshit.
I think that's a form of. I think that's a form of self-hate.
It
At the
is,
end of the
bro.
day, if you don't fully embrace, like everyone's
Embrace
own
it.
story is their own. You have your own story.
Exactly.
I have my own story. When you start photoshopping or editing your story, it's not even you anymore.
Fake, bro. It's plastic surgery.
It's plastic surgery.
Did you happen to see a couple months ago, you know that rapper Jack Harlow?
Yeah.
Did you see he posted one of his like first songs? He was like a kid.
Yeah.
Bro, that was so gangster
A
to
banger.
me. I love that, man.
Love it.
Talking about like texting his girlfriend back.
Yeah.
At 14 or whatever. I love that shit.
Yo, his rhyme schemes were actually really clean for that age.
Bro, the process is amazing. I feel like we get blinded by those like 18-year-old one hit like wonders. I'm like, bro, that's cool, but there's a whole other lane. You know?
The thing that's beautiful about the Jack Harlow example is that instantaneously you feel closer to him.
Exactly.
Instantaneously. That's part of the reason that thing went viral. It's like, oh, we get to see this guy who to many people came up out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like he all of a sudden was just like, whoa, this guy's killing with the what's popping and all that.
Yep.
But as soon as you see that clip, you're like, oh, I like this guy now.
Yes,
I feel like I know him now.
Exactly. Like, oh, this kid has been working his ass off for
Exactly.
many years. Okay.
It's a form. And that too. It gives
Right.
your respect goes up because you're
Hell
like,
yeah.
oh, he was grinding when he wasn't shit. Can I curse on there?
Hell yeah.
Okay, he wasn't grinding
We're
when
not
he
on
wasn't
radio,
shit.
bro.
But I'm not really like a curse heavy guy anyway. But you know,
No,
That's-
it's fucking true though. Like,
yeah, that's a really good example.
exactly. And you saying you're 30, some people that are 50 will be like, bro, you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the music game, for some reason, 30 is like old, but it's
Grandpa.
not at all.
Yeah,
Come on, bro. Like, it's like you're hitting your stride. Now you have some shit to talk about.
facts.
You've lived a little bit, right?
Vince spitting facts.
Versatile facts, man.
Yeah.
Session 1.
Session 1. No, that's okay. So I'll kind of like loop in where we were going with the prior question
Please
to what
do.
you just said. So I continued to make music into high school, right? Which was 2005 or like 2006 to 2009, around that time.
Yeah.
2009 I graduated. But anyway, I made music all throughout high school. But at that age, there ain't shit to talk about.
Math.
I was
science.
talking about math, science, gym. I was there talking about haters I didn't have and like, oh, I'm so much better than all you other rappers. And meanwhile, I'm not. But
Yeah.
you're just kind of finding your way through it. But the substance is completely lacking. At that point, it's really just about technique. You're figuring out delivery. You're figuring out rhyme patterns and how to formulate a song. How to even, the early days of like how to even distribute your song, aka log on MSN Messenger, appear offline and appear online a bunch of times so people can see.
Beating the algorithm before it was a thing, man.
So
Hell
yeah, I think the whole thing about rapping at this age is it's life experience. Now I can talk about real shit.
You got some shit going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100%. And when you were making the music, was there anyone kind of coaching you? Did you have an older homie, or were you more or less like, "This is me. Let's fucking learn it"?
Yo, self-taught, man. Self-taught. I'm the type where I just study, man. I just do my due diligence and study. When I pick out the people, like when I find someone that I consider to be like worthy of being a role model, I really zone in on them and I watch everything. I study everything, watch all the videos, pay close attention. You know, in those days, the people I was paying attention to rap wise would be the Jay-Z's, the Eminems, the Lil Waynes, the Kanye West, and then later on Drake, of course, and then J. Cole and all those guys. But yeah, I didn't. That is one thing I think about, having like a mentor and all that. I never really had one. I was just mentoring myself the whole time.
That's how it is, bro.
Sometimes
it's in the cards. That's
it's
how
in
it's
the cards.
supposed to be.
However it works for you just got to make the most of it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You probably had some what you just said I relate to heavy, because you probably had some experience where if someone was with you, you probably could have avoided some mistakes, but you learned so much. You grew even more.
Big facts.
Right?
Yeah, that's yeah, it's kind of both sides could look at the other side as, oh, I wish I had that.
Exactly.
The people who were mentored could look at me and be like, oh man, he was in the trenches, like learning and making mistakes, but he was in the mud.
Yes.
But at the same time, I could say like, yo, having a mentor would have saved me some time or some money or whatever the hell. But honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
I like the way I'm rolling now. It's
absolutely, bro. And music is the best thing for that.
Vigilante status.
Vigilante status always, man. We weren't born this way. You turned into that, man. But music is the best way to express those different backgrounds, because everyone, even you just named, like J. Cole comes from he was in college and this and that. Then you look at 50 Cent from the streets, Drake from a different country. Like that's the sick thing about music. You could be from anywhere. Your background could be anything, as long as you could tell a story. Unreal.
And everyone has one.
Everyone has one.
As long as you're in tune with yourself enough, you appreciate yourself, you have a relationship with yourself. The better your relationship with yourself, I think the better the music turns out to be.
Completely agree, bro. That's soul music.
Soul music.
I'm jumping ahead, but I really wanted to ask you about this. So I was listening to your music. So far, my favorite track is the Outside track.
Oh, okay, dope. Yeah.
So there is a couple themes I picked up on in your music, bro. One is you talk a lot about like time. Which hilarious. I have a podcast titled Time that I did this year too. So I'm like, okay, I fucking know.
Yo, I gotta jump on that, and we just talk about time, and we just talk about like metaphysical things.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Time. And then the other topic that I really touched on with your music was kind of being by yourself, like learning on your own. Break it down to me a little bit, bro. I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I love it.
Because I have my thoughts on this. I want to hear what you have to say.
I'm here for all of that. I love the analysis. Okay, so first, time. So many things to talk about. Basically, I went to university.
Okay.
And I was always philosophical in nature, but in university I literally took philosophy, and I just learned a level of existence and the world, and I just learned about all these amazing thinkers from the past and all their theories and just their perspectives on life. One of the things, I'd say one of the most formative classes I took was called, I think it was called The Philosophy of Dying
Okay.
or Death and Dying, one of those. It was something like that.
Not a lighthearted class.
Not at all. But I'm the type, like, sometimes people talk to me and they're like, yo, this guy's too much. Like, he's too intense. I just love,
Me too, man.
I love all that
Me too.
kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So that class, oh my God, the professor, so he walked us through Seneca and Plato and all these intense topics and thinkers and whatnot. But one exercise he had us do, which was insane, was called he would have us write these consolation letters
Okay.
where you're consoling someone over a death.
Fuck.
And the first one was like, console somebody over the death of their loved one. Write that letter now. How does that sound? So you write the letter. And then the next one was, okay, now write a letter about consoling your own loved one. So someone you actually know about someone else. Like, let's say, like, your friend, consoling your friend about the death of their parent or something. It's getting
Serious
gradually
shit.
more intense, and I'm like equally stunned, but like diving into this thing. Eventually it leads to, okay, now write a letter consoling a loved one over your death. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the final one was to write a letter to yourself about your own death. That was such a mind-blowing and mind-opening moment. And I was like, really, this is like me confronting the fact that we don't have much time here. Our time is really, it's finite.
Yes.
And you have to remember that always. And that's what they teach in Stoicism too. Remember the fact that you're a mortal being and there is an expiry date. And so that is the foundation for me talking about time so much. It's just because I know it'll end one day. So I'm just trying to make the most.
Bro, that's a fucking unreal story. And extremely relatable for me because I especially when I was in high school, I had a tough time dealing with time. Like, wow, like, fuck, things are changing. Like, people die, like, things happen. And then as you get a little older, I'm realizing what you said. That's not negotiable. Like, there's you can't negotiate time, the amount of time you have. You just have to make the most of it.
Yep.
And it's fucking crazy to think. So when I was listening to that, I'm like, okay, I know where this guy's coming from with the time stuff. It's crazy. And time, too, it's like something could feel like it's taking forever. Other things can fly by. Like, it's just I could talk about that shit forever.
No,
bro.
it's super important. And you'll see it's a
crazy.
common thread through a lot of my songs. Like you said, it's, spirit and time is that. And, like, that's the core theme of the song. It's like, yo, make the most of what you have because we don't have a lot of the cover art designed by my girlfriend, shout out Nidhi.
There we go.
Is an hourglass with an S, and the emphasis on, yo, make the most of what you have here.
Doesn't stop, bro.
End of Square One freestyle, same thing. It's living life better when I think about the end, even though society would rather just pretend that life will just extend. I flipped the script and went and turned death into a friend. Really had to make amends. It's like confronting and being in touch with the fact that, okay, this is just what life is.
It's exactly right, bro. It is a lot to think about, but you do have to think about it. It's like you said, ignoring it gets you nowhere.
And the reason I dove into it is because I can't rely on. I've seen how society avoids it. And I'm like, I can't rely on the status quo. I can't trust society to teach me about this thing because you guys avoid this topic. You guys don't want to talk about the fact that we will die one day, and just talk about it in a way that's like, how do you prepare yourself mentally for that?
It's, you know what I've found, bro? It's like a lot of people frame it as a negative discussion. It's not a negative discussion.
Not at
it's
all.
real shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where I understand when you're at a birthday party, you don't want to talk about it.
Of course.
There's a time and a place, but there is a time and a place.
There has to be. And when eventually when I have kids, it's like I want them to be able to come to me, and obviously there's a lot of sadness, them talking to me about, oh, mom and dad are going to die one day. It's like, yeah, we are. But just being able to really, I think, just like work through it.
You have to work through it, man.
Not avoiding it.
No, exactly. It's a lot of talk. Now I hear a lot about like anxiety and depression. These words come up a lot, and I feel like a lot of strategies are more of just masking it, the feelings of it, ignoring it. Bro, these things are real. Mm-hmm. If you don't address them, how can it be worked on?
Exactly. I'm not so much about, I know how people are into different forms of escapism, exactly. Whether it be through substance. Granted, there's delicate issues around substance use, and absolutely. I'm not talking about that, but escapism in general, whether it be through substances or just avoiding things, that's real.
It's very real, man.
Yeah.
You can't, that's real shit. We're not new. We're not new on this earth, man.
No.
There's been a lot of people that walk this earth.
Facts.
And the life is the same always. It's just other shit.
Mm-hmm.
Facts for fuck.
But let me get to the second part, or not to cut you off.
No.
Okay.
I want to learn the second topic.
The second part of what your question was, being alone.
Yeah, just I'm paraphrasing, but in your songs you talked about like kind of going for a drive, clearing your head, like not chilling with too many people.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, bro.
That's I'd say that's like my introverted way.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, like, it's funny. I used to think that I was extroverted. People call me that. But it's hard to tell because, someone who's introverted doesn't necessarily, I think we think of introverts as, okay, they're like, in a social setting, they're just in shambles.
Yeah.
They're just going to be off in a corner in a social, that's not actually how it works.
No.
It's about energy at the end of the day. And the way I think of it and define it is like, if you primarily get your energy from social interactions, then you're extroverted. If you primarily get your energy from being alone and you find social interactions draining, then you're most likely introverted, right? It depends for me. I think situations like this, I feel charged up. Like when we're talking about amazing things, connecting, sharing ideas, I feel amazing. But connecting back to the song, it was literally one night where I took a night drive. I just remember it was a night in September. I was going around posting up posters of myself, advertisements that I made with like a QR code, and I posted it on Instagram. So some people watching probably already know. So I was going around Mississauga. I was actually in the borderline of Mississauga and Etobicoke. I was right by. That's
my hood.
That's your hood? Yep. Mill Road?
That's my hood.
I was right around there posting up posters and like by East Mall and West Mall around there. I was just alone, and as I was driving through each of one of those bulletins that's on the side of the street, the streets were just like empty, and I was just looking at the city lights, and I was just driving, just quiet, no music, nothing. And I was just thinking about like, yo, I'm on the grind right now. I'm on the grind. I'm thinking about me as an artist and just how much life has changed. And yeah, those moments of being alone, you almost can't listen to yourself to that degree if you have all this noise around you. You have all this chatter of other people with their own thoughts, and it's just sometimes you need that solo. Let me listen to what's going on in here and in here, and then go from there.
Bro, probably the most relatable shit I've ever heard, man. I when I was listening to that, I'm like, fuck, man, like this is real.
Yeah.
Completely relatable, because I have to do that almost every day, bro. Like, take some time for myself and just reflect. I don't know how you are, but it's super crucial for me. I definitely fall under the introvert category more. I want to bring up the campfire event.
Okay, yeah.
Had a great time at that event.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Me too.
But I had to
Shout outs
work
to
really
Campfire.
hard. Shout out Campfire.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to work very hard in that situation. Like it's not not like naturally like talking to people,
I got
mingling.
you.
I've learned to like enjoy it, but that's effort. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
those types of things. I like how you said you can't really just put someone in a box. Like introvert, you're not just gonna stand in the corner.
You never know how skilled an introvert might be in
Exactly.
a social setting. Like you said, probably you from a year ago to now, someone may have been able to tell more a year ago that you're an introvert. But now, I can't guess that because
Right.
the way you came up to me at the event was like a social person. You know what I mean? So it's hard to tell from that kind of thing.
And you know what? Those nights where I've been kind of riding around or just doing my thing solo, that's helped me get to further steps, bro. It's like I've dealt this a lot. Like being by yourself is not like a bummy thing for me. It's necessary. It's like I need to analyze this, figure something out. Let's look at that next step, you know?
Exactly. That's actually the best way to put it. It's not a bad or bummy thing. It's not like, oh, I heard one of the quotes I learned in philosophy and all that is, if you're lonely when you're alone, then you're in bad company.
Exactly.
It's like, are you good company to yourself?
You gotta treat
What is
yourself.
your actual dynamic with yourself? Like, what's your self-talk? What's your relationship with yourself, right?
Exactly, man.
And so I think that's one of the reasons that song ended up just going crazy. That's definitely my fastest growing
That's
songs.
a sick song too.
And that's one of the ones where I see the widest range of people that like it. I think it's just because the message is so. Who can't relate to that?
Exactly.
I mean, maybe if you can't drive, but like
Go
in
for a
some
walk.
way, yeah, you go for a walk. Yeah, and there's no cursing. It's just a
I
very
noticed that.
clean.
That's just a good song, bro.
Thank you.
And that was the song too where it was very like GTA, like I don't know, I always associate riding in the car at night with Mississauga and shit.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
weird, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that was very much
That's your
like,
reference point.
That's
for
my
it, right?
reference
Yeah.
point, you know. So I thought you hit the nail on the head with that track. That was a really good song.
Thank you.
And I'm not someone who needs like very like complex lyrics, but I like when they hit. You know, I don't need a lot of like Kendrick Lamar like deep shit. That's cool, but I like
Athletics. That's lyrical.
that's crazy.
Athleticism
exactly.
at the end of the day. Yeah.
I want more shit though, where it's like, okay, he's saying some real shit. It's from the soul. That's what I look for in music, you know.
Right.
So shout out to you for making that
Hey, thank you so
good
much,
ass
man.
song
Thank you.
and really fucking related to that.
Thanks, bro. I'm glad. Yeah, it's the thing you're saying about lyricism. You know, I consider myself to be a fairly well spoken, have like good vocabulary and all that, and I've always steered towards being more lyrical. I've always steered towards layering lines with multiple meanings and double entendres.
Yeah.
That's why like Hove is my favorite rapper of all time because of that. But for a song like Outside, and as an artist, I think one of the main developing points that I'm having now is like really being able to know, okay, maybe now's not the time to be all like, oh man, we need a lyrical breakdown on that. Like there was sometimes it's just like, I've been driving down this road tonight. It's just me and my soul tonight. Man. And people quoting me and being like, yo, me and my soul tonight. Like, I really felt that. I'm like, simplicity. If you're able to get that feeling across with just a few words, that's a skill in itself.
Exactly, man. You mentioned some quotes. I love those. I follow like a daily quotes account on Instagram, and they're all like just like fucking hits you right in the face.
I love them.
You know?
I love them so much.
Like, wow, one sentence. I'm like, wow, that's some real shit.
That's like in school when you get a paper and people always complain about the long word count ones, but really it's the short word count ones that you have to be afraid of because you got to communicate that point
Make this hit.
Make this hit now.
Yes.
Like, you only have this much space to make it count.
Yep.
You can't be blabbing on about this. No fluff. Cut all the fluff. Can you communicate your message in this amount of space? That's a task.
Huge.
And, you know, you alienate a lot of people when you make your things too wordy, too advanced. For Kendrick, for a lot of people, you know, there's on one side, there's Pulitzer Prize.
Yes.
It's incredible. But on the other side, it's like, I can't listen to that.
Yeah.
Not me, but there's audiences of people that his music is very much not for, because they hear the lyrics and they're like, what's going on here? It's like too insane for them.
Exactly.
Whereas you have Drake on the other side of that, who's like Mr. Make it as accessible as possible, but then also try and preserve some level of like lyricism at the same time.
Yeah, he flexes his muscles here and there.
Yeah, man. He's super talented. So
again, music, man, there's a place for everybody if you believe in it.
mm-hmm.
Thing about Kendrick that I respect, I'm not a huge fan of his music, but he's never I feel like he's never really swayed from what he's trying to do, which I respect.
Integrity for days.
Right? Like, not exactly my style, but it's his style. So keep doing that, you know?
Exactly. And that commands a lot of respect.
It does.
When you see someone do that, even a guy like J. Cole, it's like you could see his growth over the years. You could see that he's maintaining the integrity, but then also doing things that maybe you wouldn't have expected from him. Like Pride is the Devil. I may not have expected a song like that from him 5 years ago, right? But you could see he's trying to move with the times, but then also he knows who he is.
Exactly, man. Staying fresh and keeping that old school shit too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How did you kind of go back into the actual like recording stuff? Like, when did you start dropping your own music?
So are we talking like the high school days, or you mean the current era?
Were you dropping in high school?
I was dropping in high school.
Okay.
And I was dropping under I almost don't want to say the name because people are going to look me up. All right, man.
Hey, Drake was on Degrassi, bro. You always got to start
This is
somewhere.
my Degrassi. I was dropping under the name Bonafide.
Okay.
Bonafide. This was in high school. I went to Applewood Heights. And so a bunch of us were it wasn't just me. It was like a group of us rapping. And putting out music. So for anyone keen enough, if you want, you will find my music out there. I put out a whole mixtape with one of my boys.
Let's go.
He ended up coming to the show. He was in the crowd. That was a surprise for me. And it was honestly a full circle moment, because I look in the crowd and I see the guys I was making music with in high school.
That's dope.
And now, now the moniker is just my real name. It just comes full circle. Incredible. I wish I need to tell that story on social media a little more, because that shit is just life changing, honestly.
That's so cool, bro. Clip this part.
And the guy who I made the songs with even earlier, Patrick, he was in the crowd as well. So it was just insane. Like, all the stomping ground people were there, including my parents.
Love it.
And so, yeah, I was putting out. By the way, if I'm ever not answering a question, just please steer me in the right path, because my brain be firing a lot. So I started putting out music in high school. I would upload it to, where would I upload?
Dat Piff?
Not Dat Piff. Damn. SoundClick.
Yeah, I remember that.
MySpace, of course.
Yep.
Yes, I was around in the MySpace days, and I seen how big Drake was in those days, and I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's out of here. Yeah. I feel like I used another site, but I'm forgetting. I put it up on like Z-Share. I don't know if you remember Z-Share.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones.
Was that like the torrent, one of the torrent ones?
It was just like an MP3 sharing site, and then you just send these bootleg links out to people. Lime links. Like, I don't know what kind of viruses these sites were giving us, but they worked at the time. And a lot of the time, it was literally just loading up songs on an iPod Nano and bringing it to school with the headphones and like literally just like being around the friends and being like, yo, I dropped a new track, want to listen to it? Like putting the earbuds in their ear and looking at their reaction as you're playing them the songs. And yeah, people always enjoyed it, but never did a show or anything. actually I did do a show in 2009. I did a show just by Square One. I don't know if you remember Enfield.
It's still a club now, right?
Is it still popping?
I think so.
Are you kidding?
What did it used to, what was
I
it
know
called?
it was called Enfield. I think now it's called like Tilted Kilt or something like
Yeah,
that.
I've been there before.
You know
I
that
remember
one?
That, yeah.
It used to be Enfield, and I did a performance there hosted by, I'm just name dropping like crazy.
Please
This
do, bro.
Hosted by Vince the Barber, who's like, his barbershop is where they do the what's the one with LeBron and
No way.
yeah,
I know exactly what you're
the
talking
shop,
about. The shop.
HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his barbershop.
Shout out Vince the Barber, bro.
Vince the Barber. Shout out to Vince. And he used to cut hair out of his condo just by Square One. I used to get haircuts by him. So shout out to Vince. He went crazy. But he hosted this open mic thing, and so I went and performed there for the first time. I did like 2 songs. I was so nervous.
Sick.
Nico from OVO was there randomly because he's Filipino and Vince is Filipino. There's just so much history, bro.
Toronto shit.
Toronto/Mississauga shit. That's that era.
Okay.
And then this era, I literally, we're walking up to my 1-year anniversary of my first song, Spirit in Time, which was released on December 16th, 2020.
Coming right up on that.
And I have something special planned on the anniversary.
Sick.
I got a
Keep your eyes out for that, man.
Keep your ears ready. I got a very special release coming out. Yeah.
So you took a pretty good break.
I did.
Just were you like, you know what? Let me just do something else for now. You fall out of love with it.
Never fell out of love. I think it was a thing. This is where mentorship comes into play.
Okay.
This is where mentorship comes into play. Because at the tender age of 18, 19, making songs, I don't understand how to make it into a career at this age. I just know I'm dropping songs and I'm like, it'll take off or it doesn't. Like when you're naive, you're just like, I'm going to blow up. Like someone's going to find these songs. You don't understand the marketing aspect. And at those times, marketing is different than these times. Now it's social media. Back then, it's kind of MySpace, social media, early social media days, but it was a little different. I didn't understand how to make it a career in those days. And, you know, when you're 19, you're doing music, nothing's really happening. You're trying to figure out, okay, like now I gotta what do I find a job? Do I go to school? Do I go to college, uni? Like, what do I do? And I was like, okay, music just isn't it then. Like, I have to be an adult now. You know, I'm almost 20. I got to figure out my life. And so I did just that. I went to university, got my jobs and all that stuff, did full-time work. And, you know, when all the way through, my soul is like, I go to sleep at night, random punchlines are coming to my mind. I'm like, why am I thinking punchlines? I'm not even trying to think. Someone says something, and I'll be like, oh, that would be dope if they said it like this in the rap. Or I hear a melody, and I'm like randomly singing melodies to myself, and like I'm singing things that other people are like, yo, that's catchy. What the hell? And then they're singing it back, and I'm like, not paying enough attention to it until eventually, pandemic. That's like years. We're talking 10 years of a gap, but that's happening the whole time. And then pandemic hits, and actually there was a little bit of a period where we're going full length here. There was a period in 2017 where because one of my good friends, Chris, he knew from before. He's like, yo, you really need to do this music stuff. And he saw that I'd given up on it, but he randomly, like, we gave each other like a challenge one day where for 30 days we would each do some project or task that would like further ourselves, something we were interested in. It was super random. I definitely didn't do the 30 days, but he's like, yo, every day, he's like, write one song or verse or something and record it and send it to me by the end of the day. So he kept me accountable. I kind of bit of mentorship there, a little bit.
Shout out Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Huge influence. But he had me do that. And I was like, oh, shit. So I lasted like 5 days. I'll be real. That shit was hard to keep up.
A verse a day is crazy.
A verse
man.
a day and like over different beats and all that stuff. And I'd record it and send it to him like it was homework.
Yeah.
But that ended up, oh, man, that did something. Because I realized when I was writing those verses, I was like, oh, I got better. Like these are way better than what I used to write. I'm not practicing, but my mind has advanced.
Exactly.
And then when I'd show it to people that used to listen to me, they're like, this is already better than what you used to make.
Absolutely.
And then fast forward from that, pandemic hits, and I just see everyone finding themselves, and like it's such a time to cut out all the noise. You're alone. Been such a pivotal time for everyone and such a life-changing thing. For some people, for the worse, some people the better and all that. But either way, we can all agree we've had more solitude in these past 2 years than we've ever had before.
Definitely.
Sorry, let me give you some speed. Okay.
No, I just completely agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just saw everyone's like, some people would be like, yeah, I started doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, hold up. I was like, yo, let me see what's up.
I got something.
You know what I mean? I was like, let me just see what's up. Let me start like writing again. Let me pull up some beats and just have fun. Let's see where it takes me. And then it just snowballed. And then I just felt something click inside of me. And I was like, wait a goddamn second. This is what I should have been doing this whole time. And then I read, this keeps going, but I read my girlfriend bought me Russ's book because I just started studying Russ because I just saw the independent grind and I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah, I fuck with his hustle.
Incredible. It's you don't even have to be an artist and you could take
I fuck with Russ, man.
So many lessons from it. And it's hilarious because when I look back to high school, in my grade 12 or grade 11 English class, we had an assignment to write some like short little reflection paper on just anything that interested us. And I think it was when we just got back from summer break. So it was September time. I wrote about 360 deals.
Owning your ass, man.
2009. When I think back to that now, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Like, I've been fascinated with this. And so now connecting back to Russ in 2020, it was just hearkening back to that time in 2009 where I understood that artists were getting fucked up. When I was 18 or 17 years old, I knew back then. And yeah, I read the book. What's it called? Get Out of Your Head. It's the yellow book. I think it's called Get Out of Your Head by Russ. Each of the chapters is a song title of his. Is that not swag?
Yeah. He's a super marketer, man.
Bro.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And so I read that book and it was over from there. That's the long answer to your question. It just really solidified. And it's like I needed to go on that journey, experiencing life, and then I found my way back to myself.
Beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
That's life, man.
That's life.
That's life. Just living to go and doing some shit.
For real.
That's an excellent story, bro. Most people that stop doing what they like doing at 19, 20 did not pick that shit back up, bro. So for you to even have the balls to start back up, you're essentially starting from scratch because you're so much older, a different guy.
Yep.
That takes balls, man. So I commend you for that.
Thank you.
That's huge.
I appreciate that, man.
No, and it goes back to our time discussion. Like, why not, bro? Okay, I didn't do it in the last 10 years, but I'll do it now.
I'll do it now.
Fuck it.
It's a I understand for a lot of people will hear this and be like, oh, he's old, like whatever. I'm not. They'll feel funny about it. But if there's anything that's beautiful about hip hop nowadays, is it's expanding. It's not just a young man's game anymore.
No.
It is very much obviously dominated by young men, but you look at some of the legacy acts, you look at the Jays, the Nas's, all these guys, seeing them on that record with Khaled, Sorry Not Sorry, amazing song, but you just get to see them stunting. Like you see Nas talking about being what is he, cryptocurrency Scarface, and like Jay another B. Oh sorry, it's just, you watch the video. These are leaders.
Yeah, exactly.
We have dudes that are in their 50s leading us in hip hop, and right behind them you have Kanye at 45 or however old. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So hip hop need not be just a 15 to 25-year-old game. It's like, how interesting would the songs be if everyone's in the same demographic?
It's 100% true, man.
You want people of different perspectives and life experience to speak their truth.
And for someone like myself, who I watch a lot of interviews, stuff like that, I love watching the older artists speak, listening to them speak. I love the young guys, of course, because they got that spirit that, you can't replicate that when you're in your 50s.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the 50s, you got that experience, man.
Yep.
You know what I like about those guys, bro? They're all so calm. Like Jay-Z, of course, he's a billionaire. Why wouldn't he be calm? Yeah, it's also because he's gone through so much shit. He knows what to turn up on, what to chill out with.
Facts.
Drake, too.
Yep.
Listening to Drake speak, I really like it.
Yep.
Because he's thinking about shit. He's gone through a lot of shit.
It's been over a decade, man.
Oof, man. This guy hasn't slowed down one bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where mentorship, I don't know if you even need to personally know them.
Facts.
Use use those resources.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You really, you don't necessarily need to have that person beside you coaching you on what to do, but as long as you just be a student.
Be a student, man.
Be diligent, be vigilant, be versatile, just like, you know what I mean? Like the internet. The internet is at our disposal. You just go on YouTube, like study these guys, study their careers, study other people. Like even me watching Kobe, I don't play ball, but watching Kobe, it's like, how can you not be inspired by work ethic like that,
Man, and we were talking about before the podcast, probably his last interview he ever did was on the Matt Barnes podcast, All the Smoke. He said something that really hit me, bro. He said, man, young players will reach out to me looking for help. They'll be like, yo, help me with this. And he'll be like, bro, I'd love to help you, but you need to tell me what you need help with. Like, I can't just show you everything I know, because that won't work for you. It worked for me. If you need help with a fucking jump shot in the corner, okay, I could show you some shit. And that's life too, bro. Like, if someone needs help, they need to tell you what you need help with, and same with us. If we need some guidance, with what? It's like, help me.
Just help me. They're like in the water flailing, like just like,
no, like you need to help yourself, and then we can do more. The 360 deals, man. You sign to a label, you think they're gonna take you where you need to go. You still gotta work and know exactly. That's the real relationship. When you know what you're trying to do, just need a little bit of.
This is a huge topic, man.
Huge topic.
We're
man.
talking about independence and
man.
Intrinsic work ethic, and
it's being by yourself in the car, like doing all that, and I'm someone who does that all the time. I've always known that you can't do it on your own. I gotta put the majority of the work in, but being around really good people that know what they're fucking doing is really how we take steps forward.
Absolutely.
We can't rely on them though. Right?
It's that balance of knowing your own bandwidth.
Yes.
Knowing that you can't do everything, especially as you scale up. It's just it's actually impossible. You drive yourself insane, and you don't have enough time or resources.
Exactly, and it's not efficient.
It's not efficient.
Russ talks about not signing to labels, but he has a team.
He has a team.
He's not doing everything himself because he knows that's not smart.
It's not. And not it's just flat out not feasible. So as you get to a certain level, I do want to get back to the point you said about Kobe because I love that.
Please do.
But as you scale up, it's actually impossible
Yeah.
to do everything by yourself. If you want to be at a level that's like local, just only doing shows, maybe you can manage it by yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to go global, you got to start appointing people. That being said, I think it's hilarious when people get managers way too early just for optics and just for
It's my
status and be
manager.
like, I can't talk to you. You talk to my manager. It's like, what are you talking about?
Like,
What,
bro, you're just checking memes all day.
yeah, like you're not that busy.
Yeah.
Just relax.
You could
like,
take your own calls.
Yeah,
for
you could
now,
take.
bro.
And it's like I had a conversation with I'm not gonna do any more name dropping. Forget all that. I had a conversation with some friends and producer, artists, people, and we on this exact topic of you should only really get a manager when you physically cannot manage it all by yourself.
Yeah.
You need help. In that case, you could even get an assistant if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And if you want to make sure you run your own ship and not pay out 15 to 20% of everything you're getting, hire an assistant, and that person will help you do all the admin and all the tasks that you need to get done. But I want to get back to your Kobe point. So that's a hilarious thing because when you listen to Kobe, we can just get into all sorts of topics, yo.
Versatile
But
vigilante.
yeah, I don't know what the time limit is, but
No time limit, bro.
okay. And we could trim up the video however you want to trim it up.
Real is real, man.
Okay, dope, because I'm enjoying this. But the thing about Kobe, like when you listen to the interviews and all that, and you listen to the things he was looking at, like he had a thing where I was watching Kanye on Drink Champs, that recent that interview went crazy, and he was talking about like he linked up with Kobe one time. And Kobe had the phone out. They were watching on the phone, and they were watching clips of who was it? It wasn't Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. No. Who was it? Was it Magic?
Olajuwon, maybe.
No, it wasn't. I think it was
I didn't watch the
Magic.
clip. Magic. That would make sense.
No, was it Magic? Or was it Scotty? Fuck, it was some older player.
Yeah, some
It
Hall
was
of Famer.
some Hall of Famer, and Kobe was paying attention to that player is known for one thing, basically, but Kobe was paying attention to like his footwork. And Kanye was so thrown off by it because no one thinks that way. But when you think about all the people that were asking, all those players that were the younger players asking Kobe those questions, do you think someone told Kobe to look at that other player's footwork? That's a result of Kobe spending time on his own, figuring out how to perfect his craft. That's that self-reliance. That's that I'm independent. I take ownership and responsibility over my own development as a professional in my field. And there's not the hilarious thing about those younger players flailing around like help. The hilarious thing is that the very thing that they're looking for, they've already defeated themselves because you're outsourcing it.
Yeah, you're looking for a shortcut, you know?
You're looking for a shortcut. You have to be a versatile vigilante, and is it vigilante or te?
Whatever you prefer, bro. That's, again, versatility.
You have to do it yourself. Go in the mud. If I was Kobe, the answer I'd have for them is go try and figure it out. You haven't tried enough because you're just trying to not use you're being mentally lazy.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to be like, make me a better player. Like, I can't make you, but you have to make yourself a better player.
Exactly, man.
Kobe would go to Jordan with questions, but very well thought out questions.
Yes,
and Jordan would be like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, he's like an insane student, but he's brought it far enough where he's like, okay, I've thought about this as much as I can. Now I have my question.
Exactly, man. Want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
It's kind of off topic, but you'll understand. So,
yeah,
a good friend of mine the other day, we were talking, and he doesn't give a shit about sports at all. Never cared, no interest. Cool. But he was telling me, he's like, man, it's hard for me to like kind of network with some of the guys because sports is such an easy topic to bond over, right? Like,
Facts.
shoot the shit about the game last night. Super easy. Build
Facts.
relationships that way. And I'm like, I feel you, bro. But listen, you are going to be trying to talk to people that have been watching sports for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've been watching sports for like a couple months. They can tell.
Yep.
Right?
10,000%.
They can tell. And they don't want to talk to you, not because they don't like you, but they want to talk sports with someone who really knows sports.
Yep.
And like same with that Kobe shit, same with that artist shit. Like you can't be up here and having a conversation down here, bro. It doesn't help either of you.
Nope.
It's like it's frustrating for me and it's not gonna help you. You know?
100%. Like
Yeah,
you can feel that it's a waste of time.
Waste of time.
You can feel like when it's like just off the fact that you asked me that tells me so much.
Exactly. And not even on a disrespectful thing. It's
Not
just
disrespectful.
Like, bro, we're not ready for this.
You're just yeah, it's like the fact that you had to ask that tells me that the level of like diligence that you have. You didn't think much about this. You're just kind of like brainlessly
Not
asking
quite
me
there
things. Yeah, not quite there yet. That's a good one.
I just laughed because I told him that straight up, and he's like, "You're right, bro."
It's true. It'll come across.
Like,
you got to just be yourself and own it. Like me,
yourself,
I'll tell you
man.
right now, I'm pulling out all these references about Kobe and whatnot. I'm not the biggest sports guy at all. I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you. I'm wearing a Raptors hoodie. I couldn't tell you the roster right now. I'm not even really paying attention like that. I just know that this is a team that I used to wear a Chicago Bulls hat because of Jordan. But I just know that this is homegrown.
Home team, man.
You know, I used to work at Real Sports for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Square One?
Huh?
In Square One?
No, Real Sports Apparel in the Maple Leaf.
Oh,
in the Rogers Center.
Okay.
No, not Rogers Center. What is it now?
ACC. Used to be ACC.
It used to be ACC. We just realistically,
Scotiabank.
it's the ACC.
Yeah.
Now, Scotiabank.
Another corporation.
I gave Scotiabank the look just
Facts.
now.
Still sponsor me, though.
Yeah, don't let my views don't reflect on Vince at all, okay? Yeah.
But no, I feel you, bro. And that's the thing, too. That's why I call this shit versatile. Like, I think it's amazing to know a little bit about a lot of different shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're more on one topic, cool. But,
Yeah.
you know, let's talk about some different shit.
Facts.
You know?
Yeah.
I learn, you learn. That's blessed.
That's
some fun.
That's what it is. I've always been more into. I remember at at the age of like 12 or 13, for some reason I was like, okay, I'm a young like mixed black kid, and I'm like, okay, I gotta either play ball or rap.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the thing that's like taught at a young age. And I remember asking my sister one day, I was like, these two career paths. I'm like, do I rap or do I play ball? And then she gave me the pros and cons of each. And she's like, you know, if you can flop as an NBA player but still make bank. But then as a rapper, if you make it huge, like you go crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. And then I always just love hip hop more if I had to pick.
That's a good way to look at it, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you like more.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You do have the fucking height for basketball, though. That's
Definitely.
That's hilarious.
Pops tried his best to get me into playing ball.
Get some rebounds.
But
man.
him taking me to those DJ things seemed to work a little better.
There you go. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
One of those ways he knew. So music wise, currently, bro, what's the goals? Like, what are you trying to do? This is something you want to rock with full time. Like, this is your career.
Mm-hmm. This is plan A and plan Z. This is or Z, whatever. This is my calling. I want nothing more, nothing less. You know, it's music or die. Till the end. You know, I want to be. That's why I am looking forward to see where guys like Jay-Z take. Like, I do want to see Jay-Z drop another album when he's 60. I want to hear that because he's still amazing right now. So what's gonna change? Like, he's just always incredible to me. 444 is an incredible album. and you're hearing reflections from him that I've never heard any other rapper talk about.
No.
He's talking about legacy. He's talking about being a better man. He's talking about the ways he's wronged his family, family feud, like all these themes that are you just seeing someone grow. And so for me, music wise, it's about following suit. Like I hope to see these guys pave the way, and then I'll follow suit. And I do want to be doing music until I said it on my live stream not too long ago. I want to be doing music until I'm on the deathbed. And even then, I hope I can come up with a catchy hook.
Hell yeah, man.
If I can come up with a last hook or punchline on my deathbed and those are my dying words, I'll be happy.
Hopefully that's not your best one though. Hopefully that one you enjoyed the royalties before, you know.
Hey, we'll let my kids and grandkids eat off the royalties
True,
of that
see?
one, you know?
I'll
Own all my publishing at that time. So I mean, I still do, but you know,
that's real shit too. You're a one man show right now?
One man. Well, no, it's not. Let me not say that. Primarily, yes, but very important to shout out my guy. I still don't know how to fully pronounce your name. Is it Klajdi? I call you Clyde sometimes. He's a guy that I met. He's a guy that I met off of. There's this website called looperman.com. I don't know if you've heard of it. Basically, people go on there to find loops, sound loops
dope.
for songs, and then they build a beat around the
idea.
loop. And there's forums on the site. And so you have producers, artists, engineers, and just everyone into music and making music on that forum.
That's dope as hell.
And so one day, I'm so glad I got to tell this story. I haven't told it yet.
Let's get it.
Exclusive. One day, I was just like, yo, I need a team. Yeah. I need people because I can feel this starting to become a lot of work. At the time, I was mixing all my songs, recording myself, mixing, finding the beats and all that stuff, just from A to Z. I'll just do it all myself, uploading it onto DistroKid and all that, which I still do. I drafted up a post. I'm like, okay, I need to word this in a way where I'll attract people that are really serious about music. Like I'm not trying to be here for a second, gone the next second. So I just wrote it in a way where I'm like, yo, I'm really looking to build a team of people who are serious about their craft. Yeah. I'm down to hear artists, but I really prefer producers, engineers, because I'm the artist. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like that role is filled.
Got that good art.
I got that. And sure enough, 2 people reached out to me that I still am in contact with to this day. One of them is an artist named Cabid. Shout outs to you, Cabid. We've done 2 songs together already and more to come.
Dope.
That's my guy. He's out in Oakland and he's like 15 years old. He's a young kid, but super potential. Yeah, shout out to Bay. And then my guy Klajdi, aka Clyde. He's from Albania.
Let's go.
Producer, engineer, and he hit me up and he's like, yo, I like your music. And it's been done since then. That was like in January or February, and now we've just been locked in since.
I love that.
He either produces the beat or will take a beat I send to him and rework it and just make it sound nice and take my vocals, make them sound crispy. So he's a crucial part of the team for sure.
I love that, bro. I've always enjoyed when artists have a like kind of a producer that they tap in with.
Yeah, you know,
that's a great strategy.
Watching motherfucking Drake and 40, the tag team,
arguably the best combo.
You have them. You got Jay-Z and Guru. You got who is it?
Snoop and Dre.
Oh my God, Snoop and Dre. You got J. Cole and it's not Ali. Ali is Kendrick's guy.
Yeah, mixed by Ali.
J. Cole has a guy, but I forget his name. Ibrahim or something. I forget.
Something like that. But there's some great
combos. Having that as an artist, that is such a blessing.
Yep. To
be able to have that person who like really is like down, same work ethic as you, maybe even more sometimes.
Huge, man.
And they just know the craft, and they can sometimes point you and do this one again. Try it like this. They can coach you and stuff.
It's excellent. That's some of the best music ever, bro. When you're just tapped in with each other, really speaking that same language.
Facts.
Excellent. So that's good to hear, bro. You're on the right track.
Thank you.
That's dope, bro. And touring is something you got on the like COVID permitting. I know that's been fucked up, but
Yeah. Yeah.
seeing you perform, you have definitely a stage presence too. By the way,
Thank you. Thank you. You know, performing is definitely something that I take very seriously, and you know, I haven't even performed much, but I just know from before I even did it. Like the amount of times I rehearsed for that performance, insane. And I don't think most people would do stuff like that.
what's a rehearsal look like for you?
Literally going in my basement and just, I have an SM58 microphone, so I'll hold a microphone not connected.
Yeah,
just to be able to feel it.
Yeah,
And feel how it feels to move around with it while holding a mic, and make sure your mic positioning is good and all that.
yeah.
And then I load up the songs. This is actually, I was thinking of keeping this private, but it's actually better to share. Maybe artists can learn from this too. This is like how to practice your craft 101.
Yeah.
I just thought about how would Kobe do it, and how he would do it is like go in an isolated place, act like you're doing it, and load up the songs, play them on your speakers. So I play my songs. I altered them so that the vocals are a little lower. I could hear myself. But the crucial part is record yourself. If you go on my computer and my phone, you will see about 7 recordings, 7 different days of me performing my live set for myself. And more recordings, because what I would do is immediately after performing it, I would watch the video back, and then I'll just look at myself and be like, okay, I need to do that better. My voice can be better here. Perform it right again. Record it again. And what I plan to do with the performance, I have this live performance that I met you at recorded, and so again, I shall watch.
That's that game footage, man.
It's game footage. I treated it like Kobe would treat game footage.
Exactly. That's dope.
There's no point in just playing if you're not going to watch the footage after.
You're right, man. You're right. Music was one of those things where you could just fuck around with it, but you could also take it as seriously as you fucking want, you know, as a craft. As
I take it very seriously. Maybe people will hear that and be like, "This guy is like super
that's
intense."
blessed, bro.
I don't give a
that works
fuck
for
at this
you,
point.
though.
Yeah, yeah.
That works for you.
We're here for a short amount of time. I'm gonna maximize that shit and study my shit and look at myself and be like, nah, at this part I want to jump like this.
Man.
This part I'm gonna move like that. That's why people hit me up after the show and they're like, yo, yours just so natural. I'm like, it's not actually natural. It looks like it.
It's the opposite of
natural, that's very rehearsed, and that's practice. You end up finding your natural swing through practice.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're just stumbling and awkward, and you're like, you don't know how you sound. You don't know how you're presenting. You have to watch it.
Absolutely. It's cool to say I just fucking rolled out of bed and did this.
I just naturally swagged out on stage.
Some people can do that,
They can.
but not everybody.
Most people can. And
right?
Most of these artists you're seeing who are incredible performers, that's hours of group. Like you saw the Beyonce documentary about the that performance she did. I forget. She did it like 2 nights in a row, and she had a different outfit for each night or something like that. Obviously. But it showed that's a performer at work. Joke, even Michael, you look at Michael, like his dad had them rehearsing insane.
Yeah.
Only through really like owning in on your craft and like getting into that zone of like that Mamba zone where you're like, no one can tell me how to work on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it to that degree, you know?
You have to take it there, though. You need to actually enjoy doing that.
Facts.
Like, Kobe seemed like the type of guy, if he would be, like, sitting at home, he'd be miserable, like, I feel. You know, like, he'd want to fucking break his back doing that.
Exactly. And you know what? I knew when I didn't even answer your question, just for the record. We're going to get back to it, but I knew when I was rehearsing, I tapped into a zone, and I'm like, I fucking love this. Mm-hmm. I love this so much. When I'd finish, I'd feel exhilarated. I'd feel like, oh my God, I'm ready. And then when it was game time, and I got on stage. I did the gut check. When in school when you'd be sitting in class and it was your turn. It was your turn to present for the day.
Yeah.
The other students would be presenting before you. You'd be watching them be all nervous, and you'd be secondhand nervous for them. Excuse me. You'd be sitting in the class, and you're comfortable because you're sitting on the class. You're sitting with everyone, looking at the front. But as soon as you get up to the front and you stand up there, now you're in the opposite position. You're looking at the class, and you're like, "Oh my God." The butterflies come, and you're like, "Yo, it's real." But I did a gut check like that when I was for the show, and I looked at all of you guys in the crowd, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to kill this." I don't feel fear. I feel excitement.
That's what you're here for, man.
This is what I'm here for, and that's partly because of preparation.
For sure it is.
That's from, in school you're scared to present because you're talking about a topic that you don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
But when you're up there on that stage, this is me. This is me in my music. I'm about to communicate to the people.
It's my life.
It's my life. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. That's real as fuck, man. No, that's what I would want from an artist, that confidence, that superstar shit. Superstar is not measurable, It's something you have, like
facts,
presence,
facts.
Stage presence.
And things like, I'm not just robotically up there, like, I'm just gonna rap my lyrics and sing my songs. Like I'm looking at people. I'm in the moment. I'm present. There's mindfulness that goes into that.
Exactly.
Let me look around. Who's enjoying? Who needs to be picked up a little more? Let me walk into the crowd. So multiple times I'm like, exactly. I even said it in the mic. I'm like, let me go be with my people right now. That alone,
that's
people are
memorable
like, whoa.
For the audience.
They love that. Yep. And granted, a lot of those people, they know me from, like, my presence to them is normal just because we're friends and all that. But I had people tell me after, they're like, yo, when you came into the crowd, it's like this, whoa.
That's dope, right? When your homies, they would have supported you anyway. But then when they're like, yo, you actually bodied that, that's sick.
They're like, all of them afterwards are like, no, you actually, like, super killed that. That's for real. I'm like, saying. No. They would have been like, no flattery. Good job, bro, good job. Yeah. But
when they're being real, like, okay.
You could see it in the eyes.
Yeah.
And all of them had that look. My one homie came up to me, Chris, he's very much not the type to just, like, he's not a flattery guy. Yeah. He's not a guy, he loves telling shit just straight. He'll just, if something's underwhelming to him, he'll just be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, you're going to be huge one day.
Lit.
He told my parents too. He's like, this guy's going to be huge one day. He just said it like almost in this calm, like under his breath way. And I knew how much he meant it in that moment. I'm like, I'm glad you see it, bro.
No, that's awesome, man. I definitely think so, man. Definitely think so.
Thank you.
You got the good story, and you got the talent and the work ethic. Keep dropping shit, bro. That's what I say to everyone that puts content out. Anything, not even music, like just keep dropping shit.
Keep dropping. The Russ method.
Always keep dropping.
You even see, I saw a clip of Andrew Schultz when they interviewed Russ on, was it Brilliant Idiots? Andrew even said it to him. It's like, Andrew's not even an artist, but the Russ method applied to him too. So like you're saying, it's whatever people are doing, it's
have to keep dropping, bro.
The momentum has to build. If you pick up the ball and you drop it every second, it's like it doesn't have a chance to. You got to make sure the snowball builds.
Exactly.
If you keep stopping it, then you're not going to see the results you want.
Jay-Z had. This was an interview that I remember watching when it came out, but it's gone viral again. A little clip of it where he was talking about the early 2000s and all his guys on his label at the time were all sick, right? But they weren't really dropping.
The 50 Cent thing?
You remember that?
Yeah.
Bro, you guys need to fucking drop because 50 Cent's coming, man. And then it happened.
Yeah.
Right?
50's coming. And that's also the amazingness of just having incredible foresight and being in tune with
man.
what's going on.
Crazy.
He had enough awareness. Two things, and he's so business minded. You're talking about market competition.
Yeah.
So you look at two things there. One, he has his ear to the streets, so he knows,
This guy's
50's
next.
bubbling up.
Yeah.
There's a problem here.
Yeah.
And even Jay in his own, he has a song called "It's Hot."
Mm-hmm.
I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50
Yeah,
cents? Like he was already
They've
trying
always
to
had
be
a
like,
little-
they've always been funny. But Jay-Z had the awareness of what's going on in the streets, and then also a very real thing about what his own camp was doing.
Yeah.
And he knows his own guys weren't pushing as hard as they should have been.
Exactly.
They should have been flooding, like Murder Inc. was flooding the market. Like Murder Inc. was like super Ja Rule Ashanti. And then 50 just came and
That was it.
squashed all of that.
100%, man.
Yeah.
That's real, like, general shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta play this game the right way, bro.
I have to. And the thing, let me answer the touring thing.
Yeah. Forgot
So
about
goal,
that.
you because you were getting into like goals and all that stuff for
Yeah.
next year. What I hope to do, I hope my positioning to the mic is okay. By the way,
Oh yeah, you're good, man.
I've been close this whole
You're
time.
good.
You see the audio's all chopped after.
Nah, we're good, bro. I'd much rather louder than quiet anyway, so
True.
we're blessed.
True. Yeah, in terms of shows, I think it's really about right now my audience my audience is hilariously like all over the place. I think I have more fans in Morocco than I do in Toronto right
Nice.
now, which is insane. I think if I was to fly out to Casablanca, I could probably pack out a venue there
Here we go.
quicker
You
than
got
I
that
could in
kind of
Toronto.
French Montana look a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. I've had that comparison before, and I think people, they see the name, the whole Arabic name, and they're like,
He's one of us.
"Imadh, yeah, oh my God!" There's like, and I've had so many fans hit me up, and their name is also Imadh,
Nice.
just spelled differently, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, we got the Imadh, like the Imadh squad is
It's a
here."
bond.
Oh, the Imadh squad. I might have to.
T-shirt.
Yeah, I might have.
Add on a T-shirt.
But yeah, I think right now in terms of shows, it's just really about building the audience locally.
Yeah, I agree.
In Saga and Toronto, and then maybe not tours yet, but like just starting to do more shows. So
Yeah.
I think the goal for 2022 is like do like, I don't know, if I could do 4 or 5 shows, I'd be very happy. Yeah, at different bars and venues and whatnot in Toronto, but slowly ramping it up. Like I want it to really be, this guy's headlining some shit and like,
Yeah.
Bringing out 100, 200 people,
For
3,
sure,
and
man.
like,
Why not?
Yeah,
Why not? People have done it before you. Why not you?
trust.
Right.
And then we'll hit up Scotiabank and all that,
Exactly. When that time is here,
Ooh, it's gonna
body
be.
that shit.
It's one thing I super want to do, and I'll tell the fans too, especially anyone listening from Saga. No one's really done it big at Celebration Square,
No.
and that to me is a travesty. I want to shut Celebration Square down.
It's massive, man. It's
It's
their space.
It's
there.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mark my words. I will do a show in Celebration Square, and I will perform Square One freestyle
Let's
there.
get it, man.
And everyone's gonna
It's
go
iconic
crazy.
shit.
Yes,
Iconic,
clip
man.
this and
I will.
watch when that day comes. I'm gonna do a wild show at Celebration Square. Shows plural.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
After
shut
all my
that shit
world
down.
tour runs, I'm gonna bring it back home where it begun. Square One.
Love it.
Yes,
Love
sir.
it. That's speaking it into existence, man.
Yes, sir. Manifestation.
Manifestation.
Mhm.
Excellent, bro. So we talked a little bit before. Do a little versatile question. I want to throw out some like little comparisons. You tell me which one you prefer. All right.
Ooh, like would you rather?
Yeah, basically. All right.
All right.
And they're gonna be hard as fuck.
Okay. What are my? Can I pass on any, or do I just?
If you want.
Nah, I ain't
If you
passing
want,
on
bro.
shit.
We're not in interrogation.
Nah, we.
Drake or Jay-Z? I knew that would fuck you up right off
That's
the
a
bat.
tough one, man. Nah, I say Jay.
You would say Drake?
I say Jay. Yeah, Jay because. Do I say because or just
Sure.
leave it? I think it's like the full scope to me, like artist, businessman, legacy, longevity. I think the expertise in the music too. Drake, don't get me wrong, incredible artist. I love so many songs of his and so much of the catalog. But to me, watching Jay-Z go from Reasonable Doubt to 444 is like, that's hard to beat, bro. So it's Jay for me. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Favorite rapper of all time, definitely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Gave him that crown.
Yeah, man.
Love it.
Goat status.
Hot or cold?
Like body temperature?
Anything. I saw Snoop Dogg ask this question to people before, and the answers were always so funny.
Just hot or cold?
Yeah. Hot or cold? What do you mean?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'd say hot. Hot. It's a tough one because I do hate being too hot, body temperature wise, and sometimes it's nice to go outside and it's just nice, cool weather.
Facts.
But in general, winter sucks, so I'm gonna say hot.
Big facts.
Yeah.
What's a Mississauga question?
Ooh. Please give me.
Dixie Outlet Mall or Aaron Mills Shopping Center?
Dixie wins. I never spent too much time at Aaron Mills.
Nah.
Dixie Mall.
Dixie's got the
I was
flea
there not
market.
too long ago, and I got. I actually got this hoodie. I got this hoodie from the Winners at Dixie Mall. So shout out to
Dixie.
Winners. You can't go wrong with that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if the Americans really know about Winners, but
Oh man.
they know
Winners, you get some
about
fines.
they know about TJ Maxx and all that.
Love Winners.
Shout outs to Dixie Mall, yo.
Huge.
Yeah.
I agree on that. Burgers or hot dogs?
Burgers.
Burgers.
That's a
okay.
no-brainer to me.
No brainer. Okay.
I fucking love these questions though. Let's get it.
Drinking or smoking?
Definitely a little bit more of a drinker. These days I'm not much of either. I think during pandemic, I think at the beginning my drinking went up, but as the pandemic has just been continuing, it's significantly decreased. I think this year I've drank less than any other year.
Nice.
And smoked. Although edibles are dope, I really, really love edibles, and I've had some of my best laughs just being high off edibles and just, oh my god, the stupidest shit will make you laugh, and I'm just in tears.
Be careful with the dosage though.
You gotta be careful with the dosage. But sometimes like a dumb joke will just, I'm like crying, like I can't even breathe.
Feel that, bro.
Yeah.
McDonald's or Wendy's?
Woo!
I'm just randomly throwing these out.
These are great. Oh man. The thing is, McDonald's is like, it's so good for like accessibility wise. Like if you want a no-brainer, more versatile. So in many ways for this podcast, my answer should be McDonald's. But if I want the better burger,
Wendy's.
I'm going to Wendy's.
Facts.
So with that being said, we'll say McDonald's for the pod.
Okay.
For the versatility, McDonald's wins.
McDonald's versatility.
You know what they do on Drink Champs? What you could do in the future is like if someone can't answer, you stump them, they have to take a shot.
Yeah, facts.
That's a real dope
bro.
one.
Drink Champs got to chill with the horns though.
Oh my god.
Fucking guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to them though.
Shout out to Nori
last but
and
not
your
least, inspired by our earlier combo, J-Lo or Ashanti?
Definitely Ashanti.
Yes. Okay.
Just because J-Lo's got records, of course. But Ashanti, just singer songwriter.
Bro, those records are
her writing records for J-Lo. As a songwriter, I take so much pride in songwriting myself, so that crown has to go to Ashanti.
Love Ashanti, man.
Yeah. And definitely as a middle school boy, watching Ashanti is just like,
bro,
mesmerized.
One of my first.
And she has a song called Mesmerized with Ja Rule too.
Best song ever.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my first experience where I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Bro, wow.
And it was just different at the time. Even now, it's just different at the time because, you just grow up watching so many like white artists, like Britney Spears and like all these white artists, Gwen Stefani and whatnot.
Ashanti all day, bro.
Christina Aguilera, but you just seeing Ashanti at the time was very refreshing, as boys and just people of color at that time and now obviously. Ashanti all day.
Shout out to Ashanti, bro.
But shout outs to J-Lo too. J-Lo
had some bangers, 100%, but Ashanti crazy.
That J-Lo song, Waiting for tonight. Waiting for
She
tonight.
had a few, bro.
Oh,
She had a few. All I
that song
Have.
still gets
Remember
me.
that one? LL Cool J.
LL Cool J.
Crazy
Oh, with that videos icon with the
Iconic
snow and
video.
all that. Oh my god,
Iconic.
that's one of the times to me visually where like the song and the video match
10
so
out of 10.
well.
Bro, the early 2000s, I'm very like nostalgic about that. Like, especially the music. Fuck, they killed that shit.
That was a different time, man.
Different time, bro. All
I
those
miss
videos
those
were crazy.
days.
Those I don't really try to look back too much, but that I'm like, oh,
Whew.
that was gold.
Those
I still
days were
listen to
different,
that.
bro.
I still listen to that.
A lot of those songs were very, very iconic.
Excellent, man.
They had character to them in a way that, I mean, I hate to sound old and whatnot, but sometimes these days it's just the music is good and it's a bop, but it's like those songs had character to them. Like All I Have is so its own song.
Crazy song.
That's why I try with my own music when. For the people listening that know my songs or are about to listen to my songs, one thing that I really try and take from that era is like each song needs to be its own. You can't make songs that are just like I can't tell them apart. I don't know that one. Okay, that one has an 808, and this hook sounds like that hook, and the hook sounds like the verse, and I can't. This artist sounds like that artist, and it's so much. Melting together. It's all just a mush of auto-tune and 808s. You can't tell what's what. But my songs, you take a Island Time, you compare it to Square One Freestyle, you compare that to Outside. It gets to the point where you're like, is this a different artist?
Yeah, that's dope.
This beat is its own beat. This thing is its own vibe. And you're going to, you run the risk of people only liking some of your music, which is fine. I'll take different pockets of audiences for that trade-off of being versatile.
Versatility, bro. I remember in that same Jay-Z Breakfast Club interview, it was when Yeezus came out, and Charlamagne's like, bro, I only really like 4 out of 10, and Jay-Z's like, but that's pretty good. 4 out of 10, that's pretty good. You know?
That is pretty good.
It's a fucking, another wise way to look at it.
No, facts.
That's pretty smart.
Hey, you can count on Jay to spend. Man, this has been like a Jay-Z, Kobe Bryant appreciation podcast.
Man, they've done a lot, you know.
They're role models in every way. Yeah, that interview, and Jay had a lot of things to say in that interview about taking your time with music.
Yeah.
And as a listener, taking your time with it and not being like. He's like, you only like 4 songs right now, but the album just came out.
Yeah, a couple months from now, you might.
Yeah, it's like, how is it that you just, an artist, the artist puts so much thought into an album, the sequencing, the instrumentation, the layering, everything. You cannot begin to process and digest
after one listen. The nerve, maybe. No, you can't even do that. You can't even do that off one song, let alone an album. There's so many times people will hit me up now. There's I did a lyric video. I posted a TikTok, and I'm still trying to get my TikTok up. That's a whole other thing. Yeah, TikTok's weird, bro. I got that too. I follow my TikTok.
Yeah, hit him up on TikTok. Yeah, and me too. But I posted a video of me rapping along with lyrics from a song that I did a feature on. You know the show where I brought up my guy Akile Leonard. Shout outs to Akile.
Yeah.
We did a song called "Movie" together, which has 50,000 streams. It's doing very well. It's definitely a fan favorite. I have a verse on there. I'm featured, and so on my TikTok I did just a lip syncing thing, and I put the lyrics there. And my friend hit me up. He's like, I did not catch some of those lines before you posted that. I watched that video and I realized some of the things you were saying, and I'm like,
that's what it is.
This goes to show you can't really form an opinion that people these days, it's like, hear the song, okay, next.
For sure.
Next.
Bro, that happens to me all the time where I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even take in that. Literally, I might have heard this song so many times, one of my favorite songs. I'm like, oh fuck, I never really took that part in.
And it makes you appreciate it on a whole new level. And granted, to the audience's defense or the listener's defense, there's a lot of music these days.
Oh man,
there is a lot.
Crazy.
There's 60,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day.
Insane.
Every day, and that's one platform.
Insane.
So, there's artists that I love, and right now I don't even have the time to
100%.
keep up with all the projects, and just there's so much going on, and I almost feel funny just being an artist myself, and all I'm doing is adding to that pool. But
Facts, bro.
I hope to set myself apart from most artists, and I think I do. I think there's not many people sonically you could compare me to necessarily. And I know it's connecting with people. I can feel it.
Exactly. If you know you're liking it, if you like what you make, keep making it.
Facts.
I go through that with the podcast too. Bro, there's a million podcasts out, but I enjoy mine. Keep doing that shit.
That's what the fuck I'm talking
Fuck
about,
it.
bro.
Let's get it.
It gets to a point where you're like, respect, but fuck all the other people doing this. Like,
I'm doing mine too.
I'm just doing me. I'm doing it like there's no one else.
One thing,
because there's no other you.
100%, bro. One thing I'm gonna say, and this is for anyone watching. So, quick story. Last year, I've been doing this podcast since the very end of 2017, beginning of 2018. Didn't get this spot till last year, 2020. So COVID definitely kicked me in the ass to take it to a next step, right? Like, go a little harder with it. Bro, the amount of people that started podcasts during COVID, insane. So, like, literally a couple of weeks ago, a bunch of them we would follow each other at the time on IG. Just for fun, I'm like, let me see a lot of these people, because I haven't seen them post shit.
Yeah.
Bro, last post, June 2020.
Yo.
Last post, October 2020.
Yo.
May 2020. Bro, it's one thing for people to start something, music, podcasting, anything, art. If you fold too early, bro, you're fucked. You need to keep it moving, man.
You know what's the biggest shame with those? When they're good.
100%.
I'm sure some of those ones you checked out, you're like, damn.
For sure, bro. Everyone has something where it's like, wow, they do that a little different than me. That's pretty dope, you know? But you stopped. Now it's worth shit.
They flop on themselves.
Exactly.
And oh my goodness, there's an artist who will not be named, but if you know exactly who you are, and it's out of love at the end of the day, so there's no issue. We recently linked up. Super talented. We had a conversation about putting out music and how often we put out music, and he said, I was like, it was some other guy, everyone was going to be anonymous in this story, but one other guy pointed me out, and he's like, jokingly, he's like, yo, can you imagine this guy is putting out music every couple weeks? Because I've put out 13 singles this year.
Nice.
So that's a little more than once a month, right? And so I asked the guy, I'm like, yeah, this is just what I will die by. Like, you need to put out music often.
100%.
I've learned enough by this point. This is what you have to do. You can't fuck around with that. Even if it's once a month, that's fine.
Need to.
You can't leave long gaps. And then I asked this guy in question, I just looked at him. I wanted to see his answer for what he's doing, because he's an artist as well. And he said the last time he posted music was January.
It's too long.
And this is a conversation we had last week, and I was like, bro, what are you doing?
That's way too long, bro.
I was like, you're too fire to have waited this long. What are you going to wait for a year anniversary to drop your second thing?
Could be the best song ever, and it's not enough.
It doesn't matter. And then there was another guy, again, will not be named, but I'm low-key judging you guys out of love, because you guys can do better than this. And because you're talented, you just need to drop more. But the other guy was like, he's like, I dropped an EP, in the summer, and it popped off, and I haven't dropped anything since. But it's just like, that means you're just riding off the success of that. And granted, I know that there's life things that come in the way, and I know it's tough, but the consistency is so important. And it just really sucks when people are super talented and they just kind of drop the ball on themselves, man.
That's the Kobe thing, man. If you can't do it, if you can't help yourself, I can't help you.
I can't help you. You got to put out music. You got to
do it.
No one's going to come looking for you. Not these days.
0%.
It's a fight for attention.
Anything.
anything,
bro.
whatever you do,
The quality,
you are in that challenge too. Whatever,
1000%, man.
yeah, and I know you can feel it. That fight to get more. How do I grow? How do I build my
1000%.
audience?
But stopping too early robs you of that. Like, oh fuck, okay, I'm seeing movement, bro. Last year I had one guest on the podcast because most of that was COVID related.
Yeah,
but also wasn't like networking like I am now. Now I see the ball rolling a little bit, and it's like, okay, let's continue to fucking push this.
and this is what's gonna do it. And
Right, like-
granted, not each step is gonna be like some giant thing, but as long as you are in tune and patient enough to see this is a step.
Yes.
I don't care that it's
Smallest
not. It could be it could be a little millimeter. It doesn't matter. It's something.
Yeah.
You are better off than you were yesterday. You are now in a better position, and the thing is, you will never know. It's like that picture with the people. This is now like so important, but you know which one.
Yeah.
They're
with the thing.
they're mining for the diamonds,
yeah,
right?
And they're like one shot away.
You never know how close you are, and
So fucked.
and I'd like to extend on that meme and say there's not just one diamond. You never want to think of it as like, oh, I just blow up one time and it's over. There's maintenance. You want to look for multiple diamonds.
You want to live till you're old man.
Old man.
With a real history behind you.
Yeah, and you don't want to you don't want to think of blowing up as a singular event. Like Russ said it, multiple blow-ups, because what happens is if you think about it as one, the time you think you get it, you're just not going to maintain. You're just going to rise and fall. You need to find new ways of expanding and blowing yourself up.
Remember Best I Ever Had?
Of course.
Huge hit.
Huge.
Now, we don't even remember that song because he's had so many. He's Drake, by the way.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't know, Drake.
Continues to drop hits. Like,
yeah.
Bro, Best I Ever Had was probably the biggest song at the time.
We don't
even talk about it anymore.
It went crazy. And Drake is an embodiment of... He said something incredible in an interview once. I am showing all my cards about all the people that I study. But this is an example of when you take your craft seriously, you want to study all the people who also took it seriously. Absolutely. And like lived it out and are living examples of it. Or they've passed or whatever. They've took it to that insane level. But Drake in an interview, he said, and this is to me just incredible. Oh, there's one of those ones that you just always remember. He said, when you take in his tour cycles, when he goes touring, right? He says the last 4 songs will be his biggest songs, right? And his goal is to make sure that for the next tour cycle, he has a different last 4 songs, which when you have that standard, that pushes you to make sure you're not relying on past hits. So what happens is he takes that set list. So let's say the last 4 songs, God's Plan, One Dance, I don't know, Tootsie Slide, and like whatever else, whatever order you want to do. The next tour cycle that happens, he then churns out Laugh Now, Cry Later, Too Sexy, even though, he churns out these new hits, and then these old ones get bumped up into the set list. Yep. And now these new 4 come here. That is a surefire way to make sure that you're constantly competing with yourself, outdoing yourself, and setting new bars for yourself.
Building that fire.
Literally and figuratively setting new bars.
That was the Elliott Wilson interview, right?
It might have been the Rap Radar.
That's one of the best interviews I've ever seen.
Incredible interview. Yeah, really good. Very controlled, but good at the same time. As you'd
Drake, bro, he doesn't need to do anything he doesn't want to do.
He won't do something like this where it's like unprepared and off the cuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a time for that.
Yet.
Drake, you're coming through.
Manifestation. Yes. Absolutely.
Drake,
he'll be here one day talking about what versatility means to him and answering your would you rather questions.
Exactly, bro. Well, bro, this was fucking awesome. I don't know if you have anything left.
This was incredible.
Bro, Imadh, one of the sickest artists coming up, Mississauga. Gonna be a star.
Yes,
Check
sir.
out already some of his tracks on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Video coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So let me get some self promo
Love
off.
this, man.
So the things I like to promo, first of all, my current single, No Time. Go check that out now. Produced by my guy Klajdi. Check-in Beats. That's actually his name. Let me say it like that. He's gonna hate that I was using his first name, but it was
Check-in Beats.
Check-in Beats. Okay, if you could like dub that over every time I said his first name, dub that over. And Shams, of course. Shout out to Shams. That's dope collab there. That's the current single, so go check that out. And then I have a video coming out on Friday for Outside, the song we were just talking about. Everyone's been waiting on that video. I got people saying finally and all this. That was shot by my guy Esteban. He's a part of the team as well. That's the videographer and photographer. I love that guy. Besides that, look, like I said earlier, the anniversary of my first song, Spirit in Time. I have something very special coming out on that day, on December 17th. So look out for that.
Little early Christmas gift.
Love it. Yeah. For my people who love the bars. I'll just say that much.
Okay, I like
there's
that.
people who prefer the catchy singing song, but there's people who love they just want to hear rap.
Versatile again, man.
Versatile.
Out here.
Yes.
My guy. Fucking awesome.
This is
interview.
dope. This is dope, man.
Versatile Vigilante. Keep a lookout for Imadh.
Yes, sir.
Keep a lookout for this shit. We got some new stuff coming up. Ending this year off strong, too. Fourth quarter. Not laying off. Start the first quarter 2022.
This is a buzzer beater, yo.
Buzzer beater. Hey, first of the month today, too.
Oh, let's get it.
We're out here.
Let's get it.
All right, man. Good looks.
Yes.
Versatile Vigilante.